Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, February 15th, 2018. Read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you've had a good week so far. I have to apologize in advance for the sound quality of my video on Tuesday. I'm actually up at the cottage this week, so without my normal equipment and the sound quality was pretty poor. I'm hoping today's video will be a bit better. I might break it out into smaller segments, but I really appreciate your patience with it. If you're a regular viewer, then you well know I always start these videos off with a look at the Russell Index. I use the Russell as my simple proxy for the markets overall. I always want to make sure the markets are moving higher before I'm adding new names to my watch list. And for that, I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I like to step back and take a look at it on the 5-year monthly time frame. So we're looking at a plain chart. I took all my drawings away because I want you to see the orientation on the monthly so far. We talked about this candle for the month of December being undecided. January had positive follow-through, except for the last few days, which created this wick. And so far for the month of February, we've had a pretty wonky candle going all the way down here. And the last several days have been positive, creating this wick. We have half of the month to go, so it'll be interesting to see how this candle ends up. But I just wanted you to see that monthly view. Now I'm going to turn it into the 9-month weekly because I want you to see the weekly as well. So we're coming, it's a positive week so far, but we're coming to the top of this candle and our area of resistance. So we'll see how it behaves in this area. So I'm going to swap it back over to that 5-year monthly. And I'm going to put my drawings back on. There we go. So I apologize for the clutter in advance, but the markets have been wonking around a little bit more lately. So just as a reminder, this blue line down here is long-term support resistance. We're kind of ignoring it for now. This orange line here corralled price for us on the Russell all through 2017. This black diagonal line is kind of the most important line to me on this chart. It's support resistance. As you can see, the Russell traded in this wedgie pattern through most of 2017, had a breakout to the upside later in the year, traded above our black diagonal line, and for the first time in several months this February, this month, it traded below. So I think that's important to note. I also drew this line in. You'll see it more clearly on the smaller time frame. But for now, we're really paying attention to this pink line. So long-term support, kind of medium orange, and the pink is more shorter-term support. So I'm going to move it away from the monthly view to the 1-year weekly. Maybe it's better if I show you quickly on the 2-year weekly because I want you to get a reference point on this orange line. And these are the weekly candles now, and you can see how this black diagonal line corralled price through much of 2017, and then it made its way up and out, but we fell into below support, the black diagonal line, in February. The last few days have been positive, but it's now hugging this line of resistance. It was support, now resistance. So this is the weekly look. Now I'm going to move it into the smaller time frame so we can look at the daily. So here's the daily. Pink line, short-term support, more medium down here. So we drew this diagonal line in several videos ago saying, look, when the Russell was up above in this area, and we were saying, look, if the Russell's going to continue its uptrend, it's going to have to break through this trend line here, which it did not. It fell through this black diagonal line. Again, a reminder, this one is super important to me. And it was support. It is now resistance because we fell below it. But we hit this pink line of support resistance, we bounced off, and yesterday was a very positive day. Despite the stronger than expected inflation data, the market reacted well all through the day, bringing us right into our diagonal line of resistance. The Futures are looking positive this morning, so we will open above in this area. Can we stay above? That's what I'm going to be paying attention to the most. But encouraging to see the price action. And now I'm going to zoom it in. We're looking at the 9-month daily. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit further because I want you to see this blue line is my guide, which is the 8-day EMA. When price on the Russell is up and over the blue 8-day EMA, and I'm going to put a second requirement in, although it's trading up and over the blue 8-day EMA, I want it up and over this black line. So I want a candle, I'm going to put a little shape in here, that closes like that. I want it opening and closing above this black diagonal line. So I'll be looking for that. So we're in the confluence of this diagonal line. We're slightly above it, and this one. So this area right here is going to be kind of interesting to watch and see. But with price showing strength and closing above the 8-day EMA, I'm not adding a new name to my watch list. So I'm not going to do the full blown video on a new name, but I will remind you of 2 past Chart of the Day Cafe picks that I think might look interesting here if we get that follow through. So should we get that strong follow through on the Russell in the days ahead? Here are 2 past Chart of the Day Cafe picks that look interesting to me in this area. Again, it's all about the follow through in the markets overall. The first one is Royal Dutch Shell, ticker symbol RDS.B. We're looking at the 1-year weekly chart. It was my Chart of the Day Cafe featured chart here. A reminder, we're looking at the weekly candles. It was bouncing off this area of support. It had this beautiful lift. I featured it again here, green circle day, off this area of consolidation and move higher. It had a beautiful run from there, and then with everything else has sold off. But I've got my area of support and resistance drawn in here, my orange line. It looks as though it may want to make its way up and over. We will see. It's all about follow through. I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the 6-month daily so you can better see. So you can, this blue line is my guide, the 8-day EMA. You can see that it's trying to move up and over that 8-day. It closed above it, but for me personally, just like the Russell, I want to see an open and close up and over my orange line of resistance and have this orange line offer support. I checked the scores on it again this morning for you. Beautiful high value score, a current forecasted earnings growth rate of 22%, PE of 14.82, and a dividend yield of 5.64%, Royal Dutch Shell. So again, I just want to say I'm looking for an open and close in the days ahead up and over my orange line of support resistance. So I want it to clear that area. The second one is ABBV in the drug pharmaceutical space. Let me go back out to the 1-year weekly on this one. So ABBV was our Chart of the Day Cafe featured chart back here in April. Again, we're looking at the weekly chart. It had a beautiful run from there. Consolidated here. I know we reiterated it somewhere in this area. Had a strong move higher. It's looking interesting again here. So I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the daily. And we're starting to get that lift up and over the 8-day. You can see that this is an area of support. And so with follow through on this one, I think ABBV looks interesting again here, one to keep an eye on. Scores this morning, still beautiful high value score. A forecasted earnings growth rate of 16%, current PE of 17.32, and a current dividend yield of 2.51%. So those are 2 to keep an eye on. With that, I'll leave you. As a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Tuesday.